So welcome one and welcome all. One by one we will show our contestants. First up is Iron Mask. The first thing that comes to mind is selflessness when I see this. This is a way to show his good nature to the audience. A very save the cat kind of introduction. With how well he took the hit, it shows that he is strong. Not only did it barely bother him, he was bleeding from the attack, although the bleeding was more to show that he cannot feel pain. Then there is his willingness to take over for the boy, which reinforces the idea that he is a selfless person, but also that he is willing to suffer for the sake of others. Now to the most distinctive feature about him, his mask. This is to hide his identity and a symbolic representation of being a blank slate. As he does not remember anything about his past, we also have to make it clear from the situation that Iron Mask is a slave. So we combine the fact that he is a slave, face is covered, and unable to feel pain as a way to show that he is nothing, but that also means that he has nothing else to lose. Not even the basic stuff. We later find out that he can't taste things either. But I guess there's Cole and Doc, who is his friends. Oh, but I almost forgot something very important. The reason why Iron Mask cannot remember anything is to have an easy way to tell the audience about the world without using the butler-maid method. The butler-maid way of informing the audience is to mention information that the character should already know, typically starting with "as you know," and then go from there. But now you have the problem of having an amnesiac protagonist. This is a fairly common trope, could be off-putting for some, just like anything. How they execute it matters. Unfortunately, there are not many ways to change the character arc of the character with this trope, so the general character growth is quite predictable. Iron Mask's introduction is not the worst, but neither is the greatest. Just kinda bland. Now, moving on to our next contestant, Xion Mask. I will be honest with you, I hate this. There are too many things that does not make much sense, and don't get me started on the amount of fade to blacks they did. To be honest, that's the main reason why I don't like it. They are too incompetent to give justification in how it all worked. They absolutely cheated her introduction. Her introduction suffered for the sake of the particular story beats that they were wanting to happen. They made her a mysterious woman who was wanted by both opposing groups. This also enforces the good nature of the main character, Iron Mask. Another problem about Xion's introduction is that it's competing with the Crimson Crow's introduction as well. Again, we have a female character being shafted in these kinds of games. Anyways, we do get a bit more when the Crimson Crows were interrogating her, where she also does not want to talk, but we need more information about her, so she breaks and gives us a little bit about her thorns. Also, she is a Renin and they hate Danon, and Danon hates Renins also. This interrogation feed also serves as a way to tell the player that the Renins have a last name while Danons don't. Not that it matters all that much, but I guess you can mention that. They never really intended to tell us much about Xion immediately. There are questions that they want to answer later. This forces them to focus on the mysterious portion about her character to interest the player until they decide to divulge more information about her to the player. Problem is that a damsel in distress is not really a good way to introduce a character, typically. It makes the character look helpless and weak. However, here they use it in a way to show her capabilities, as in the commotion she escaped and was capable to hold her own for the most part. So in that case, it is well done. In short, Xion's introduction for the most part is garbage, but they salvaged what they could after her introduction or towards the end of it, depending on how you look at it. Here comes our third contestant, Rinwell. So they are straight up just doing mystery with this one. You can see her cross the gate and collapse. That is all that you really get from the initial time seeing her. But once she regains consciousness, she asks for help from the neighboring realm, Cyslodia. Again, a family character's introduction. And again, they use mystery to add interest to the character. Well, there are other characteristics that make up for our character. Like, for example, she is a walking encyclopedia, which is a common trope in these Tales of games. Well, more of a history book in this case. And this is before she's even a playable party member. She starts off as your guide, but they drop subtle hints that there are things she is hiding. Unfortunately, I really do not have much to say about Rinwell's introduction. There's not much to it, and this is intentional for a greater payoff in the future. Although, one thing they make abundantly clear is that she hates Renan. For example, how she is with Shion despite being on the same side, and all in all, there really is not much when it comes to Rinwell's introduction. But that is okay, because not every introduction has to be some kind of grand masterpiece. Actually, so far all the characters' introduction aren't anything to write home about. But at least they get the job done. All Rinwell is for her introduction to a tour guide with a secret. And there goes our third contestant, unable to wait for his turn.
Leave him alone!
He starts off as an enemy, and the son of your mentor, Zephyr. I mean, you can instantly tell by the way Zephyr reacts when he sees him. And well, Law hates his father for leaving him and mother. Considering that Zephyr is the leader of the Crimson Crows, you can then assume Zephyr focuses his time and energy on the resistance group over his family. This does bring up the question, why is Law here in Cyslodia and not Orpheus Calaglia? I mean, yeah, he must have ran away, but how did he cross the gate? I wonder if their intention in calling him Law is because your first encounter with him is him following the law, or rather working as law enforcement. This already gives you a layer of depth to the character that you can easily latch onto. There is also a point of comparison being Zephyr. In this way, part of Law's introduction comes from Zephyr. There is the wonder about how similar and different they are to each other. One similarity is how they fight. They both are brawlers. If he hates him completely, then he would have more than likely learned how to fight differently. Oh, that is assuming he has the time and weapon in the first place. Well, there are myriad styles one can learn to do unarmed combat, but then comes the issue of how would he learn it. He would have to learn on his own, because first, who actually knows enough that Law can get in contact with and is willing to teach him? Second, is there anyone he can really trust to teach him without anything bad happening? Both are highly unlikely to happen, so I guess he would have to learn on his own without looking suspicious. So realistically, he is stuck with his father's fighting style, whether he likes it or not. Of course, sometimes hatred pushes you to go to the extreme. This is a really promising start, nonetheless. And then the next time we see him, he is too far down the questioning phase that is making no sense. They show no progression to this stage, and it feels so fast, especially when you consider how much hate he had for his father and the lack of care he showed when Zephyr was captured, thus making this seem super forced, or at least feeling like such, because we needed a reason for Law to join the party sooner than later. However, the idea was there. In my opinion, how they executed this was the issue. Alpha needs to be the one to help push Law into the direction of forgiveness to Zephyr, but Law was too wishy-washy by the point on our last scene with him. Next scene of Zephyr's action or words getting Law to reconsider his feelings or change the scene with Alphen to change Law's opinion of Zephyr. A way to change it is to have Law sure that this is what he wanted, but Alphen manages to nudge him into the direction of forgiveness to Zephyr. The change in how Law is quite fast, but something like this could work theoretically, but it is still a hard sell nonetheless. One thing I should mention is that the reason for the fumble is because of gameplay. The narrative suffered so that the player can play the character sooner rather than later. In any case, Law's introduction is the reverse of Shion. Starts off good, but towards the end, or after the initial encounter, they really drop the ball hard. Then we have our next contestant waiting patiently, Kisara. You know, I actually had to go back and see where the first encounter happened. I can remember the scene after it, but I knew that there was another scene before it with her. This is a problem with having a simple introduction that does not really intrigue the player in any meaningful capacity. This is the only intro that I have forgotten about. Both Alphen and Shion had the benefit of being in the beginning where the player is still learning the setup of the game. Kisara did not have that. Neither did Law and Rinwell. Although Rinwell does have the benefit of like, ooh, new area to explore. But that's
She
besides
sounds
the
like
point.
she's serious,
The problem
Alvin.
with this is that it is not
Makes
for
no
her.
sense.
This intro
Don't your people
technically
remember
isn't
7
even
years
for
ago?
her. They try to
Wouldn't
have
you be
something
grateful
interesting
if you
happen
were
in the
finally
scene.
allowed
The
to
problem
live as a free person?
is that
And
they
for my part,
succeeded
there is
in
no
pulling our
greater
interest
honor
to
than being
the
chosen to
Lord
serve
with the
His
mystery
Excellency,
of why
Lord
he
Dohalim.
desires an
I feel
audience
no
with us.
shame.
This inherently takes attention away from Kisara. They do try to remedy this
But
by
all of that
bringing up the
aside,
fact that she is
I
a
came seeking
Danan
you,
royal
Alvin,
knight.
at Lord
But we have
Dohalim's
already
behest. He
been
wishes an
primed
audience
with this
you.
knowledge that they have Danan knights.
With us?
And since we will meet with the Lord, we
Indeed,
will likely
he
get
awaits
some
you at
answers
Autolina
from him.
Palace.
And
That is, if you
yay!
choose to
We are
accept. I am
3
here
for
only
3
as a
with
messenger,
shafted
not a
female
kidnapper.
introductions. Just
You'll
like the other
reply?
female character, she was shafted because of
All right.
Story. Kisara
We'll
just
meet your lord.
confirmed that all the
Very
party
well.
has
I
heard
shall
about
return and
El and
deliver your
Menacia was
acceptance.
true.
Please
This
don't
does
keep
give
him
attention to
waiting too
her.
long.
But the Lord, I can meet with
Before
him.
you go,
That is the
What
reason
lies
why
beyond
we
this
are
point?
here in the first place.
A quarry
To acquire the
manned by
Earth Core,
Danan laborers.
and to hopefully get a better understanding of the true situation
Nothing
of this
else?
realm. She acts as an
There's a Danan
extension
medical
to
facility
the Lord's
for the
introduction.
severely
So
ill at
in
the
that
back.
sense, it
However,
did
for
what it needed to
sanitation
do.
reasons, it's kept
My
off
issue
limits,
comes from
even
her
to
being
guardsmen.
a playable
That was
character.
odd.
They
Why
deserve
do you think
better.
this Dohalim
Plus,
would wanna
if they
see us?
nailed it in
It's
having
probably a
our
trap.
interest in the character
Still,
from
they
the
already know
start,
we're
then
here.
it is
Not
more
like we can
likely
start being
the
stealthy
player will
now.
give the
We might as
character
well
a
listen to what
try.
he has to
First
say.
impression matters, and if you flub this part, you have to work even harder for the player to be invested. One thing you can
Pretty
pick up
fancy
from
place they got
Kisara
here.
is her loyalty to the Lord and wants to convince
There's
us
no
that
way
this
this
place
isn't a
truly
trap.
is a land of equals created by the Lord of this realm. Then there is her mannerism. She presents herself in a formal way. Not to say that there is no expression. She still has identity showing through her
Your
formality.
guess,
One
my lord.
thing that is a
Thank
bit
you,
weird for me
Kisara.
is that Kisara does not wear a helm,
You're the
unlike
wielder of
all the other
blazing
knights.
sword,
This
the
is
liberator of
more of a
Calagria.
personal thing, but
You do
it does
dress
not
humbly
make
for
sense
someone
that
of
she is
such
the only one because you
grandeur.
would think others would copy her considering she is the
But where are my
captain
manners?
of the Royal
I
Knights.
am the
That and
ruler
why
of
would
Eldam
one not
Menancia.
want to protect
I'm
their
Lord
head?
Dohalim
One hit to
Ilkaris.
the head and you are dead.
You know who
But
we
with a
are.
helm, it is
Did
much
you know
harder
how
to just
strange it
die
was to
like
invite
that.
us into your palace?
Yes, I know that
I
they
thought
do
I'd clear
this
up your
so that they can
misconceptions
show what the
before
character
things could
looks like.
escalate.
Showing the face
What do you
helps people
say?
distinguish the characters better, and showing the hair
You
will
did
make the
come
character
here to
look
defeat me,
better.
did you
The thing
not?
about Kisara's
Perhaps.
introduction is
What if
that
we
she is
did?
effectively a quest
Planning
giver.
to fight
Like,
us here?
it is just boring.
I don't think
but
that will
it
be
is
necessary.
in a way
After
perfect
all,
for
I
her
imagine
for
you've taken in
what
a
it
fair
was
amount
meant
of
to
his scent by
serve.
this point.
Lord Doholi, the
Have you
one
come
she
across
devoted
even
her
one
life to.
slave
We can
being
skip ahead
abused?
to the next section where
Soldiers
she
killing for
takes
sport?
us to meet
Suffering
Lord
in any
Doholi,
form?
and she is there to show that her devotion
would
is not
hazard
just words.
that
That
you
and
have
well,
not.
we skip a little more ahead, and she's willing to tail the crew,
For I
showing
have
that she's
liberated
willing to take
Menancia
matters
from
into her
suffering
own hands if she
brought
feels
joy
that she
to its
needs to.
people.
This goes to show
But
her
these
loyalty
results
to
are not
Lord
enough to stay your
Doholi.
sword.
And speaking of Lord Doholi, he is our last contestant. The thing about him is much like in my video of Ganabelt. Part of the introduction to the character is the realm they rule. We know that he is the holder of the
I
Earth
commend
Master
you for your
Core,
boldness,
brought unity
but it
between
won't work on
Ranans
me.
and Danans, and now he
Still,
wants to settle things peacefully
your
with the
would-be
crew. And
assassination
well,
cannot
when
go
we meet him,
unpunished.
Shion takes her chance to kill him. This makes Shion look stupid.
Alvin!
In fact, it doesn't feel like it is Shion, which is the price they pay to make Dohun look cool. I get that Shion is desperate to kill all the lords for their master cores,
Allow
but
me to
she
host you
should
for
have
dinner.
had at least
shall
half a
continue
brain
our
cell
talk
to
then.
know escaping alive in that
Kelzalek?
situation is unlikely.
Yes,
And
my
she
lord.
has shown in the past that
Please escort our
she
guests
thinks
if
about
you'd be
these
so
things.
kind.
And please
As you
stop
wish.
shafting characters like this. I do not get why they keep on doing this. But oh well. Even after an attempt at his life, he still treats them to a feast
what you
as
get for
they
being so
try to work
careless.
their situation
What I
out.
get?
Unfortunately,
What were
they
you
do not
thinking,
see eye to
attacking him
eye
on your
and
own?
were ultimately
What are you upset
dismissed.
about?
This shows
Our whole
that
goal is
Dohuli
supposed
is
to
a
be
reasonable
overthrowing
man,
the
but
lords.
is still in
Remember?
a very in the way of Shion's goal to collect
wouldn't
all
have
the
been the first
massacres.
time
This
either.
shows that
What's
he
gotten
does
into
live
you?
up to the praise of the people, but it brings up the question of, is there actually anything
Hey,
nefarious,
did
or
you know
or
that
does it
Alvin
maintain the
is really
mystery
just
of what
worried
is
about
really
you,
going
right?
on? Another mystery about Lord Dohalim is his lack of care for the crown contest. We do get a flashback of
mean,
Dohalim
that's what it
where
looked
they
like to
show
me.
why he is different from the
but,
other lords. He was
maybe not.
traumatized, but I should confess, I do not like the flashback
me to see
sequence.
that Renin
It
cuisine
feels
isn't to your
forced.
liking.
What do you mean I'm the
I asked
problem
my
when I
chefs to
acted
prepare
in
only the
self-defense?
finest
I
delicacies
have to
available.
wonder, is the only thing the girl saw was the killing
Two wasted
blow
opportunities.
and blind to everything else, or was she just in love with the dead boy? I can see how this can be traumatizing, but in
Why did you set the
fiction
den and
this
see her
just
free
makes
when you
him
took over?
seem as just
But
pathetic.
you are mistaken.
The difference
You
in
see,
how
I may rule
I would see
single-handedly,
this situation
but
between
on my own,
real
even
life
I
and
cannot
fiction
change
is
the
a
order
strange
of
one,
things,
I'll
but
admit.
what is
However,
within my
they did
power
make
is
it
the
clear
welfare
that
of the
this
people,
influences
the
how he
fostering of a
rules
mutual
the
respect
realm.
among the
You know, I thought I
classes.
would have more to talk
This
about
I can
Doholim,
change.
but everything is quite
Sounds a lot
straightforward.
like the
Well,
Danes
a
are
common
still
trend I
oppressed, if you
noticed
ask me.
was
Only in
that
the sense they
a sense
continue to
of
serve as
mystery was
laborers,
a
yes.
constant theme.
However,
Although
I assure
that
you
is
they are fairly
likely to
compensated for their
due to
efforts.
the inherent
This harmony
nature
we
of
strive
introducing
for
characters.
is the
There is
current
likely
pinnacle
a
of
level
Renin
of
Danon
mystery to
coexistence.
change to a character upon their
Harmony
first
and
reveal.
coexistence
However, the difference is how
between the
much
Renins
does it
and
matter
Danons.
to the
What about
player
the crown
or
contest?
to the narrative
This doesn't
of the
exactly
story.
make you a
I think
shoo-in.
one of the
And yet,
issues
the
I
Danons
have
here are
with
even more
this
productive than when they
introduction
used
is
to
the
face
overall
daily
reliance
lashings.
of mystery to add interest
In
to
any
the
case,
characters.
the crown
Of course,
contest
that
is of
was
little
not the
importance to
only
me,
thing they used,
and even
nor was
less
it
to
always the
Elder
main focus
Menencia.
all the time.
You see,
Overall, the
I have no
introductions
interest
were
in becoming
mediocre and did
sovereign.
what they wanted to do, but could have been executed on a lot better. I personally wished that they did more to showcase some of the characters' ability, as they are going to join your party at some point. Now, we have reached the end of the video. This is where I ask for your opinions and thoughts on the matter. I, for one, want to see what others see or saw that I did not. And well, goodbye.